everyone can hear me clearly. If you can, please type yes into your chat box now. Wonderful. Welcome. We're so happy that you're able to join us. Our presenters today include Meetingmax President Jeff Duncan, Client Services Manager Sureena Parmar, Housing Coordinator Patrick MacCoubrey, and myself, Marketing Manager Kelly Mackay. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, please type them into your chat box. We will address all questions at the end of the webinar. And when you're typing those questions in, there'll be an option to send questions to staff. Please select that. Our agenda for today. So Jeff Duncan will take us through a welcome address. Patrick will then talk about reskin updates in the user interface. Sureena will take us through some exciting new system features. Jeff will touch on an exciting project we have in the works, our reservation page redesign. Then Jeff and I will touch base on the Unconvention in 2015. And finally, we will wrap up with questions. Jeff, could you please talk about why we host this call annually? Jeff, are you there? Sorry, guys, just one moment here.
I am
Jeff,
unmuted. Thank you very much. Can you hear me, Kelly?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Awesome. Thank you. Just wanted to say to some good morning and to the rest good afternoon. We appreciate you joining us for the call today. We've got a big turnout today, and we wanted to make sure that we try to get you back to work at the top of the hour, so that we'll endeavor over the next 55 minutes to get you through this. We wanted to talk about less the reasons and more the purpose for this webinar. Meetingmax is really striving and continues to strive to engage its friends, its partners, all of its suppliers throughout the year. And I guess at the core, as an organization, we really are about creating a community. One of the great things is everyone on this call shares in kind of this unique and exciting space of accommodation and event management. We're here to celebrate it with you, but really we want to get to a place of creating something of significance. Everything that our organization does is really geared toward moving this industry forward. We're here to kind of push the boundaries and really revolutionize the entire world of housing and accommodation management. So Meetingmax is here as your partner, and collectively with you, we're here and doing some pretty phenomenal things together. I look forward to exploring some of these things as we get through in the next 50 or so minutes. Kelly asked me this morning to talk about some of the reasons why we have the call each year and why it's important to you, more importantly. Meetingmax is really known inside of the industry as an organization that, we do things a little differently. Some might call it unconventional. I guess the spirit that all of our people share in is really the catalyst for us to create the annual user conference, the Unconvention. It really provides us an opportunity to learn and share and grow together with you in Vancouver each year. And our challenge is that it only really takes place once a year. I personally thought, and I endeavored to get all of you guys to Vancouver every couple of months, but I think I was not only overruled by some of your CFOs, I was kind of overruled by our staff as well, who are pretty sure that they can only handle this event once a year. But really, the next best thing was to bring you a call somewhere halfway between the last Unconvention and the next Unconvention, which kind of puts us today and at the beginning of December. And of course, we duly named this call the Completely Conventional Conference Call, as we like to call spade a spade. It might not provide you the same impact that a few days in person with us in Vancouver, but it's going to allow us to make sure that you're aware of what we're up to, what trends we're seeing in the industry, and really give you an opportunity to get caught up and get caught up with us, get us to get caught up with you, and ultimately have our community of users. So on the topic of what we've been up to, Patrick is here to spend a few minutes talking about the user interface from the master control panel. Patrick?
Thanks, Jeff. As most of you are probably aware, we have recently launched the beta version of our new user interface. We've been working on improvements to the new UI for months. In fact, we had a group of attendees at Unconvention in April be the first kind of official testers of it, and ever since we've been taking the feedback we received there and additional feedback and implementing it into the system. So I'm just going to launch a quick poll here. We're wondering, we'd like to ask, which interface do you use more often? I'm going to go ahead and launch that, and if you guys could take a couple of seconds to quickly answer that. We're not going to spend too much time on it. All right. I'll give you a couple more seconds. It looks like some people are still coming in. All right. So as I was mentioning, I'm just going to go ahead and close that poll quickly. I do apologize if you didn't get a chance to respond, but I think that gives us a good indication of what we're looking at here. So as I mentioned, we started testing the new user interface at Unconvention last year, and we compiled a long list of feedback from our attendees that we've been implementing into the system ever since. Up until yesterday, we're adding items on a daily basis to make the system as intuitive and user-friendly as possible. So I want to thank everyone who's provided us feedback up until this point and look forward to seeing more feedback come through. So just some ideas, to give you some ideas of what the kind of feedback and improvements we've made to the system. I'll go over a couple quickly here. One of the main challenges we had when we launched the new user interfaces was images previewing and uploading. I'm happy to say we've now fixed that problem, and you can see that when you're now able to upload and view images in the reskin, both in the back end and on the front end. So that's been a great improvement and a necessary improvement by all means. Another improvement that we've made, which has been really handy, is the with our light boxes. Our light boxes have been resized automatically, so now you're not going to get any odd-sized light boxes. And what I mean by light boxes are, if you ever see the boxes that come up on top of the main screen. So these here are our light boxes. We've resized these automatically so that it's going to automatically trigger to whatever content is there. Obviously, if there's more content within a scroll, you'll have the scroll option, but that's something that we've really put a lot of focus and effort into as well. Thirdly, one of the main points of feedback we received at Unconvention was the ability to preview the event that you're creating while you're creating it. So our solution to that is we've added this URL up at the top below the event name. So anytime your event has a page code, this URL is automatically going to populate here. And when you click on that, it's going to automatically take you to the front end of the user, or the websites where guests are making reservations, so you can preview that throughout. And as you can see, regardless of what page I'm on the event page, that URL is there for you to access that. So it's little improvements here and there that we've been making to the reskin. Again, our goal is to make it the most intuitive and user-friendly program that you can possibly use, and it's tips and feedback that we've been receiving from everyone that has gotten us to the point we are and is going to continue taking us to where we want to go. So just looking at the poll results here, you can see that it looks like 49% of the people that responded are still using Classic, and 24% of people are in the new UI, which is fantastic. That's a really high number considering it's still in beta. So first and foremost, I'd like to thank everyone who is experimenting with the redesign, and thank you for your patience and also your feedback that you provided us. It's been invaluable, so that's fantastic. From there, that being said, moving forward, we are intending early in the new year, probably as of January, we're going to be setting the reskin to the default when you log in. Right now it's set to Classic as the default, but we are going to be changing that to encourage people to dive more into the reskin. And understanding that not everyone's going to be completely comfortable with the reskin right off the bat, so we are going to give you a couple more months to get used to it once it is set as the default. But know that eventually it is going to be solely reskin, or as we call it, the new user interface, and we will no longer be working in Classic. That being said, it is with great excitement that I get to announce, and I don't know if we've ever mentioned this publicly or not, but we are going to be launching in early 2015 our training certification program. Our training certification program is a self-paced, web-based learning program where you're going to have the ability to go in and completely learn the Meetingmax system from front to back, all control panels, everything you'll need to know will be in there, with the opportunity for you to become Meetingmax certified, which obviously comes with a lot of benefits in itself, being that you'll know the system as well as anybody else, with some additional benefits as well. So again, that's something to look forward to in early 2015. With that, I'm going to pass it off to Sureena, who's going to discuss a couple of our new features that we've added recently.
Perfect. Thanks, Patrick. As Patrick mentioned, we have been spending a lot of our time over the last year focusing on the reskin. However, simultaneously, we have also been doing quite a few improvements to the application. The majority of what I'm going to show you right now is live in the system. However, I'm not sure if everyone is aware of the improvements that we've been putting through the system. So I thought I'd just showcase some of them and spend a few minutes. I'm sure all of you can see my screen. The page that I have here is the event page. So when you're building your first event or building your event, below where you've got your event dates, we've got the cutoff date, which we've always had in the system. At this date, on March 31st, all of your hotels for this event will stop selling rooms. We found that having just a date there a little bit inefficient, so we decided to add an hour as well. So maybe not the best example here, but it says like basically on March 31st at midnight, all your hotels will stop selling rooms. Perhaps your contract that you received from all of your hotels said that the end of business day, 5 p.m., so you could change that time to 5 o'clock when you're leaving the office. That's when all your hotels will stop selling rooms. Now, I know many of you on the call are saying, okay, that's great, but what about if I have different times and different cutoff dates? So we can go over to the page where you add your actual hotel to the event, and then we've always had the accept bookings after cutoff date, and you can enter your actual the date of the contract for that hotel, but now you can actually also add the time for that particular hotel. We also went a little bit further. Last year we added the close down dates to prevent any changes from happening in the system when the close down dates were set up. So in that section as well, we've added in a time. So you may want to allow people to continue making changes until, let's maybe just use 5 p.m. Like continue making changes in the system until 5 p.m. on a particular day, and then from that time moving forward, all changes will be directed to another path or medium. Those of you on the call that have a payment gateway and have specific refunding privileges, we'll be adding in a time as well for those refunding areas if you're on the call and you're wondering about that. The next area, I know some of you, the people that are using the, sorry about this, the people that are using the reskin right now have probably already become used to this format and this new layout that we've added to the summary page. As you can see, the dates to the summary are along the top, and then we've got the list of hotels along the left here. So the hotel is listed here. We've got the room types, and then we can click down to the subblock. We did showcase this quite a while ago. The only reason I really want to focus on this is because we've totally changed the layout of the summary to have the dates along the top. Therefore, we're trying to resemble this and have this flow through the entire application. So moving forward in the reskin, we've actually added this change to the room types as well. So when you're adding inventory to an event hotel room type, the format of the dates will no longer be along the left, they'll be along the top. And this particular layout, some of you may have not seen if you're still working in Classic, but we did go over this layout during my session at the Unconvention in 2014 earlier this year. We've added a few new columns and rows in here just to make it a little bit easier for those of you who are using subblocks and want to know exactly how much inventory you have in all of your subblocks versus how much inventory you have in your entire main block, and then what's available for you to sell. So once we go into an actual default reskin version, all of your room type inventory will look in this format. Next here, I want to point out when you are making reservations through the back end and you're in your event and you click on new reservation here, it takes you to the back end session page where you can go ahead and make a reservation for someone. I know it's quite small, but we've added it in a new field here. For those of you who want to communicate to the hotel, and it's just right down here, communicate to the hotel about a particular guest needs, but not share that with the guest. We all are so used to using the special request area. Here I've got room away from elevator, quite common requests for guests. But further down here we've got private note for the hotel. It says room and tax to master for the 3 nights. Please ask for credit card upon arrival. Guests may attempt to refuse providing the card. And that's something you may want to share. That message is communicated to the hotel in actually the HCP. I'm using a version of the MCP as an example. They have it highlighted in the actual reservation right here. So private note to the hotel that the guest does not see anywhere on their confirmation, for example, or anywhere in that area. And then if you need to edit it when it's still in status new reservation, you can simply just go to the edit button right here, and then I'll take you over into the area where you can edit any portion of the reservation. But here's your note to the hotel right there where you can update and edit it. Also, if you are someone who uses quite a lot of rooming lists and imports rooming lists into the application, we have added a new version of the import template called the advanced template. In that version, there is a section there to add in your private notes to the hotel, as well as a few other fields that we did not have. For example, payment note, company name, and CC email if you're using that feature. And then also with the design of the search area here, this is quite common. I think all of you are quite familiar with this layout. We've just expanded on this a little bit, and you can simply press the expand button, as this is set as a default when you go to the reservations tab. Once you expand, you've got a whole myriad of search fields that you can use when you're looking for reservations. Really great if you're looking for an example, if you're looking for a particular event, status new, and then the date the reservation was created on, and maybe a number of nights. So you want to know everyone who's coming in status new for a particular date that has maybe a 7-night stay, and you can go ahead and search for that for those reservations here. So a lot more intuitive than the original version. And then when you've conducted your search, the layout of how all the roles are displayed are now offering the version to expand. I know a lot of you work in either teams or group booking, so one reservation may have multiple rooms inside of that booking. Therefore, this is the new layout where you still have the first row, which is always collapsed, as located here. So room number, res ID 194, has 3 reservations in it. If you click on it, it expands, and you can see the basic details of each of those rooms, the guest name, their email address, the dates they're staying, and then their room type. And then you can click on the particular one, and it'll expand and open up into that actual reservation. Next, we've spent quite a bit of time changing the format and the layout of the change request process. We've received a lot of feedback over the last few months, few years about how it would be great if you can make multiple changes to a reservation at one time rather than the original layout, the format of having to make 6 different changes to one reservation. So this is version 1 of how it looks when a guest is making a change, or if you're in the MCP making a change through the submit change button here, so you can go ahead and change your dates, change your room type, change your special request, and if you were to scroll down, the guest in the room and then the credit card and the credit card details all at one time. That process would be submitted to the master control panel and the control panel. Under the Changes tab, the layout looks the same to everyone right now. However, the sections below here, room type, occupant, all of this, these are the original version that we had, which will slowly be removed as events conclude, and all the newer events, since we released this new version, will go up into this section only, which is basically all of the change requests. There's no reason to have these sections since it no longer matters what your request is. We just know that it's all going to sit under these change request area here. The request example I had earlier is right here, res ID 43106. I can just go ahead and click on that, and it'll take us to a new layout where basically the hotel can say, this was the original person, here's the new person, am I going to accept that change? Yes. This is the date, checkout date, check in the date, yes, go ahead, credit card, and so forth. So a lot more smoother, easier to process, and there's less clicking involved for the hotels, which I know they really appreciate that. And then finally, as just touching a little bit on Patrick's training and certification program, which we're really excited about, we also wanted to make sure you still had other mediums to use for training purposes. So we spent quite a bit of time on developing an online wiki for you to use as a resource. This version is going to be released by the end of this year, and you can access it inside your control panel. And the release right now for 2014 will solely be for the master control panel. So if you're logged in, you'll be able to go down to the toolbar here and click on the wiki button, and that'll launch the resource, and I'll just take you into it, which will be the online wiki here, which just basically gives you all the resources you need. So you no longer need to reach out to me if you want a certain contract or the training schedule. It'll all be located here. We've got an area for tips and tricks, little workarounds and whatnot, and then overall just details of how to use the system, as well as any add-ons that we have or customizations that we've done. And so, by all means, version 1 will be read-only. We want to get this to a place where if you have other tips and tricks or comments or suggestions, you'll be able to submit your suggestions on this page, and then we can vet and make sure those are available for other Meetingmax users to read and review. And there's just 2 examples there of how the wiki has been designed. And I think that's it for me. I'll just pass it back over to Jeff.
Thanks, Sureena. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, good. I didn't know after the last experience, so thank you for that. I'm just going to get a screenshot over here. And Kelly, can you see my iPhone?
It's just loading. There we go, yes.
Perfect. Okay, so first of all, thanks, Sureena. Thank you to Anna, TED Conferences, who's on the call as well, for allowing us to kind of show some of the design elements being developed. We're using their event on the screen as an example, so thanks for that permission as we've got this up. I just wanted to take you guys first up to 30,000-foot level and just understand a little bit more of the philosophy behind the redesign. You know, this initiative was all about making the user experience an inspiring one, and that's really what we try to focus on the entire time that we've gone through this. You guys all work on making sure your guests receive an outstanding event, or make sure that your guests at least receive an outstanding support related to the event that they're attending. We wanted to make sure that we're here to accompany you in this initiative, really bringing your guests an image and an experience that is consistent with excellence. There's too many X's in there. So one of the first things you'll note is, number 1 is a responsive design. Whether your guests are making their reservation from a mobile device, as the screen shows here, knowing that my internet lags a little bit, just see whether your tablet's coming up there, whether they're coming in via a tablet device, or whether they're making a reservation from a desktop. I'll flip over to the desktop with these 3 different devices on there, knowing that if it takes a moment to load up. We have noticed, by the way, that the majority of people are still making the reservations via desktop. There are some anomalies, and there are some users that experience a higher percentage. What we found is connecting with, from a registration perspective, as well as from a housing perspective, quite often people are doing the research via mobile devices, but they're actually committing and making their registration and their hotel room booking from a desktop. With that being said, we see the trend extending, and we see the trend coming deeper and heavier on top of the tablet and mobile devices, so we want to make sure that we are positioned and making sure, again, that your users have the best experience possible. Talking about the experience, it's about having a consistent, we want to have a clean, easy to navigate, just generally intuitive, with the system thinking and being smart. We want the system to think beyond just the next step. We want the design to kind of be positioned to get the user to this, what we would call a state of closing, and a state of closing being that they're willing to commit to their room, and getting the guest to select their hotel and room type that fits them as quickly as possible, as well as easy as possible. So the reservation process, along with registration, it really is what we would view the front line of your event. It's kind of the first thing that the attendee is going to do as they decide to attend an event that you guys are working on. We want to make sure that this kind of low barrier to entry, we want to make sure it's as low as possible and provide kind of a simple procedure that's going to get them closed and coming to their event as seamlessly as possible. So just flipping screens here just to dive into the reservation system. And hopefully that comes up for you. Just talking about from the hotel listing to the main screen to the hotel overview to the room listings page, we really want to see a consistent effort to reduce clicks. We want to start trying to remove steps. We're trying to minimize the guests' need to move from one page that they sit on to another page. So try to do everything in one place as much as possible. And then just moving from here, flipping this, talking about the call to action. When we're talking about the call to action, it's about getting your guests to actually commit to the room, and this has really been simplified and it's been streamlined. The overall look and feel, we've gone for cutting edge. We know that this is on par with some of the finest booking experiences available today. The entire process will hopefully help put forward an image that's consistent with the quality of the event, and we look forward to rolling this out into 2015. We are going to spend a bit of time, and I'll flip to the last screen here. We're going to spend a bit of time at the Unconvention in April walking through the usability of this new interface, and we're getting things prepared for you guys to launch to your users shortly thereafter. I guess acting as a reasonable segue into the Unconvention in April. Kelly, you're here to kind of talk about what we have in store for our folks in 2015.
Yes, thank you so much, Jeff. Give me one moment here. Perfect. So hopefully everyone can see my screen there. So I just wanted to touch base on the Unconvention, our annual conference, which is always a ton of fun, and why you should all be there. So 4 main points here. One is event success, so hands-on learning inside the Meetingmax system. As Jeff was just talking about the front-end redesign, the Unconvention is a great time for us to allow our users to kind of do a beta testing of that and get a first-hand experience in our new designs. Last year we did the reskin, and this year we are hoping to do that front-end redesign. And just increase your knowledge to increase the success of your events. Also, expert knowledge. Attend education sessions hosted by Meetingmax experts. Expect sessions from all-stars on our team, Sureena, Patrick, and Jeff, and of course the housing experts, our longtime Meetingmax users. Return on investment. Identify new opportunities inside Meetingmax to generate revenue. One guest last year said they hit their return on investment within minutes of the first breakfast talking housing with other users. And that leads us into point 4, connecting with other users. The Unconvention is a great platform to connect with housing professionals and grow your personal network. And these are the people you can lean on when you're doing housing, and they can help you just increase that success again. So next on the screen here, you will see some quotes. So don't take our word for it. Up here are some quotes from guests that attended the Unconvention this past April. Our attendees are a variety of meeting planners, convention services and technology staff from CVBs, and event managers that work for sole organizations planning multiple annual events. Now might actually be a great time to hear firsthand what some of our users last year thought of the conference. Jeff, I'll let you lead that.
Yeah, I would personally love to hear from maybe a few on the call on why they feel, the Unconvention was a good investment or an enjoyable experience. Something that we drive very hard each year is the Unconvention, and it is really our opportunity to engage with you guys to build a community and to allow you guys to build a community with each other. Like I said in my opening remarks, this is about building a community of people that are willing to help each other out. And we're all in this kind of unique space of the accommodation management. We're in this unique position inside of the market that we've just found having the ability to connect and engage with other users has been absolutely key and vital. So I'm just going to look down the list here. If I take a look at, let's see, let's start with Aaron Arnold from Cable Huntington. Aaron, can you maybe spend a moment talking about why the Unconvention was a good experience for you, why it was an enjoyable experience, why it was a good investment, anything thereabouts. So Aaron from Cable, if we could have him unmuted, and maybe he can take a moment to give us a chat on that.
Thank you so much, Jeff. You can hear me okay?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Wonderful. We're a relatively new organization to Meetingmax. We are in the middle of year 2 of using the software. So we felt as an organization it was invaluable to just get a hands-on approach in person, get on the front lines of Meetingmax, and become more comfortable with the software. I felt that mission was accomplished by attending Unconvention. I felt it's so valuable in that you guys actually allowed the attendees to get in on the redesign of the new interface. That was really neat. I had never been in on any kind of process like that where you're actually testing the new interface out. and giving you guys valuable feedback, while it's right there in front of you before it actually was released to your other users. So I thought that was very cool. It was a neat experience to hear some of the challenges. Certainly there are some resources. I know on LinkedIn there is a Meetingmax group you can, if you're a user, you can go to and kind of get some insight there. But just to firsthand hear some of the similar challenges that we face were going on in some other markets as well, whether it be event planners, hotels, similar issues that we face from time to time in using the software. I thought that was so cool to get to hear that and to feel like you're not out there on the island, that other people are out there to tap into their knowledge to overcome those obstacles. So it was a great event. Glad we attended. Look forward to coming back to Vancouver real soon. And aside from the actual Meetingmax aspect, I thought it was a huge showcase for the city of Vancouver, and it was unlike any other convention, hence the name, in that every hour was different, every day was different, and it by no means was your conventional ballroom type event. I thought it was very well done by you guys.
Well, thanks, Aaron. I know that Tourism Vancouver would probably be very happy to hear that the city showcased well. And I think to Aaron's point about listening to our users, and I think that's something that we are very good at doing. We're not only good at listening to our users, but we're good at listening to your users as well. And the Unconvention is a great way to have a two-way dialogue on a number of initiatives and really keep your finger on the pulse of what's going on in the industry and keeping track of what trends are taking place. So down the list as well, I've got, looks like Shane. Shane from the Plano CVB is in attendance with us as well. Shane, if we could unmute Shane and maybe just give us an indication as to why you attended the Unconvention and why you registered so early for the Unconvention this year.
Hi there. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. I had a great time at the Unconvention last year. I think that ditto to everything that has already been said, but I was on the job for relatively 2.5 weeks before I had to come to Unconvention, and so the entire process and system was completely new to me. And so what Unconvention did is it allowed me to not only learn the system in and out and have access to see what the new system was going to be, but like had already been mentioned, the learning the way other cities utilize the system for different types of events helped me quite a bit. And I've been able to reach out to a few of those folks since then on new things and how to handle different types of events that and with their individual challenges that each one has. But I think probably my favorite part was how thorough it was. I mean, you get the walkthrough of how to sync it with like Simple View and other programs, how to tie registration in with it, the front end, the back end, the planner side of it, of the software, and I just really liked and appreciated how thorough the system was, and it allowed me to come back and host an event, I believe, the following month, and I had a pretty good idea what I was doing at that point. So for being only 2.5 weeks on the job and being thrown into something full steam ahead, I feel like it really prepared me for the next step.
Wonderful. Well, thanks, Shane. I appreciate that. And I think to your point about kind of creating that community, I think that's something that resonates with us as we get the Unconvention going. We've heard from a couple of CVBs, and there's no question that there is Convention and Visitor Bureaus in attendance. We really are the only user conference that's focused on housing and accommodation management that exists right now. But it's not just made up of Convention and Visitor Bureaus. We have meeting planners. We have individual organizations that host and hold various conventions and conferences, some meeting planners that travel from with the system from state to state or country to country, and gives us an opportunity to provide content for meeting planners, for event organizers, and for Convention and Visitor Bureaus. Someone that's on the call right now is someone who's been to every Unconvention since its inception. Actually, there's a few people on the call that have been in on since the very first Unconvention. But Jeff Faulkner from Worldwide Group is on the line. I'd like to unmute Jeff and just, Jeff, get your perspective on from the beginnings of the very first Unconvention, why it was something that was important to you, and a reason why you attend each year.
Well, good morning, Jeff and everyone. It's a pleasure to be on the call. As Jeff stole my first line, I am in a unique position where I have attended every Unconvention since the beginning, and beyond all the fantastic information and all that, it's just a first-class event. For someone like me whose job it is to take care of other people, to pamper VIPs and so on and so forth, it's just a real pleasure to be able to come to Vancouver and again, not only get all the information, but just to be taken care of first class. The meals are not only just great food, but they're always an experience. The activities that are set up, the games, everything's just a great time. I'm very lucky to have been able to attend since the beginning, and you know, and again, being in that unique position, you know, if you're lucky enough, you'll even be able to pick up Jeff's dry cleaning and go to the bank for Jeff. But just a first-class event, and I would highly recommend it to everybody. If you're trying to decide on whether to come, just make that decision because it's a great one.
Thanks, Jeff. And I know that one thing that we do push hard is the Unconvention. We do it for a reason. It's an investment. It's a huge investment for us. In fact, to date, every single person who has registered for the Unconvention, we've paid more than we receive in registration fees. But we do it for a reason. We do it because it fits inside of our core values as an organization in nurturing all relationships and in creating success for other people. But we also do it because we know that people who come and get the details and the content and the education are going to walk away with a whole tool belt full of different resources. With connections to other people that they'll have an opportunity to reconnect with and ask questions of. And we know that if people come to the Unconvention, we know that they're going to be more successful on using our system. And so that's the primary reason why we make sure that the Unconvention is a big focus for us as an organization through the course of the year. Kel?
Thank you, Jeff. And thank you, everyone, for all those kind words about the Unconvention. It's so nice to hear that. So I wanted to briefly touch on just the education. So last year we had a great mix of guest speakers, client presentations, and Meetingmax-led education. We are still crafting our 2015 agenda, but our 2014 and 2013 agendas are available on our website, and they're a great reference and a great tool to look through if you are still deciding whether to come or not. Next spring, expect more roundtable discussion and hands-on learning inside the system. We've listened to you, and we will include more time this year for group discussions, especially at the roundtable sessions. And also, we would love your input as we finalize education. You have until the end of the day this Friday to submit either a session you would like to host yourself or just a general suggestion for an education session that you would like to see. I will be sending out an email tomorrow with different links to submit those if you have any ideas. And then finally, we do offer a special gift if you register in 2014. So if you register before December 31st, you receive a free pass to the Vancouver Aquarium. And this came about at the suggestion of Laura Sen. So thank you, Laura. She suggested that we offer this as our bonus gift this year. The aquarium is located in beautiful Stanley Park. It was actually voted the best park in the world by TripAdvisor. So if you do come to Vancouver, it's something you don't want to miss. And they're really dedicated to the conservation of aquatic life. My fiance, Matt, is a scuba diver, so we find ourselves at the aquarium often as he helps annually with different sea creature guest counts in the ocean. So I can't recommend it enough. We always have a great time there. So if you are planning on coming, make sure to register before the 31st to receive that pass. So now we're going to head into questions. So if you have any questions at this time, please type them into your chat box. And again, please send them to the staff so that we can see them. And I'll give you guys a couple minutes to input any questions there. And while we're waiting for questions to come in, I wanted to extend the invitation to join our monthly Gathering Minds meeting, also known as our virtual book club. So I know I invite a lot of you to this monthly. I just wanted to take a moment to talk about it. Every month we read a book together in the hopes that it will grow us personally, professionally, or both. Meetingmax will provide a free audio copy of that book to anyone that wishes to join, which you can listen to on your favorite device. And at the end of each month, we meet casually to discuss what we took away from that book. I wanted to extend a big thank you to our loyal participants, Aaron Arnold, John Francis, and John Baldwin. It's been really impactful for me personally. To put it into perspective, since I started with Meetingmax, I read over 40 books, which I probably never would have read on my own. And for December, we are switching it up. We are watching 3 TED Talks. So you can see the different videos on the screen there, and I will send out an invitation to everyone as well. And if you have any information on it, you can just email me personally at kelly@meetingmax.cc. And then the last thing I wanted to share was this infographic from one of our favorite authors, John Spence. And I just wanted to point out at the bottom there, it says, reading 1 hour per day in your chosen field will make you an international expert in 7 years. So it's pretty powerful. So I highly recommend that you guys join this with us. So we'll go back to questions, and I will pass it off to Patrick to answer any questions you may have.
Thanks, Cal. So first and foremost, I think Tina has a book suggestion, and she suggests, she says Shades of Grey. So I'm not sure what she means by that, but we'll take it into consideration, Tina. Anna from TED asks, is there plans for developing the ability to download the hotel summary? Maybe I'll pass that off to Sureena to answer.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Yes, excellent. Yep. Okay. Yes, you know, the downloading the summary into Excel has come up a few times, and Tina being on the call, and Anna, I don't know if both of you have met yet, but absolutely it is definitely in our timeline for 2015. We think it'd be great to get that into an actual document once you've added all your filters in and your sorts and whatnot. So 2015, you'll definitely see the ability to export that into Excel.
Great, thanks, Sureena. Yvonne from Abbotsford asks, could you please let us know when your online training will be launched? Who is eligible? Who will be contacted when it is online? Excellent question, Yvonne. At this point, we don't have a firm date as to when we want to launch it. We know we want to launch it early in 2015. It's just a matter of getting our ducks in order and making sure that it is exactly what we want it to be. As far as who's eligible, we're going to do it in a couple phases, and the first phase being anyone using the master control panel will be able to log in, watch some videos, take some quizzes, and then get Meetingmax certified. The second phase of that will be reaching out and allowing your hotel users, which is going to be a huge, huge benefit to anyone who uses the system. The hotel user will be able to log on to the portal, take the training certification program for just the hotel control panel, and then in essence become certified on that portal as well. So it's going to provide not only you with some great training, but also all of your partners as well. And of course, we will be you will know when it's coming because we'll be really excited about it too, Yvonne. So there'll be plenty of stuff out letting you know it's coming up. Mike Chandler says, under summary, will the ability to sort subblock reservations made from total reservations, many block totals, subblock totals, and then total reservations?
I feel like that's a side conversation I need to have with Mike Chandler. We are adding in another sort option right now, and then we have an area held on the summary page to add in other filters and whatnot. So by all means, we know that there's going to be some more additions to the page. So Mike, if you have an idea of where you want to take it with all, I know that you've got an event that has hundreds of subblocks. So by all means, we're happy to get a conversation going with you. What you need to refine your search under the summary tab.
Perfect. Ashley from Spokane asks, will the reskin be the default for the control panels in January or just the master? Ashley, the plan is to make it the default for all of the control panels. So when anyone logs into the Meetingmax system, it's going to default to the new user interface. Again, we are going to be accommodating with that. We don't want to throw anyone under the bus, and communication between us and you is going to be, there's going to be lots of it letting you know what's going on in the entire process. Janine from Madison says, any plans for future additional simple view integration, for example, two-way integration? Again, maybe I'll let Sureena answer that one.
I think we've got a tentative plan in place. I think the two-way integration has already been released for phase 1, and then phase 2 of the pickup reports. I think after that, we just haven't fine-tuned what the priority is, but there's definitely discussions and meetings being set up for next phases in 2015, and potentially that can be a session that we could host at the Unconvention in April to discuss what would be the best or what's most required for the next phase.
Awesome, thanks. Jeff Faulkner asks if Duncan will be continuing his tradition of singing Sweet Caroline every year at the Unconvention.
I appreciate the question, and backed by popular demand, I will do exactly that. Neil Diamond is a favorite of mine. Thank you, Jeff Faulkner.
If that's not reason enough to Unconvention, I don't know what is. Mike also asks, with the new user interface, will there be a specific hotel training rollout? Will we still have some that are not 100% comfortable now with the Classic? There will be, Mike. Like I said, the intent with the training certification program is not only to give you access as the site administrator, but also provide access to all hotels so they can sign in at their own time, take as long as they need to take to go through each of the modules and each of the options and phases of the hotel control panel and get as familiar as they can. They can watch the video 100 times over until they fully understand it. And part of our intent with this is so that you also, as the site administrator, will go in and take the hotel certification program, and so that you're just as familiar with the HCP as the MCP, so that questions can come to you and you can help them out just as much.
And I just want to make a comment as well. With the training certification program, yes, there's going to be a myriad of videos that you can watch, but also we're going to have a lot of questions, multiple choice style questions, to make sure the user understands and what they've actually watched, and they can't really complete the program until they've answered those questions correctly.
Good point, Sureena. Thanks. And now it looks like we're getting a lot of negative feedback on Jeff singing Sweet Caroline. So
well, okay, come on, guys. Make up your mind here. Should I sing it or not? I'll tell you what, we'll do a separate poll offline before the Unconvention, and we'll see how that turns out.
Perfect. Tony Cook in Bloomington asks, what about sub-block requests by end users, or the ability for the team block manager to log in and see how the team is booking? I know, Sureena, maybe you're best to answer that one again.
So Tony, great question. We have been working with our graphic designer, and I know Jeff did show you some of the front-end new layout. We have a section in there for what we call universal main menu area, where we can add in a section for a sub-block requester. So we've gone ahead and designed what would be a sub-block requester, where if you need to request more than 5, 10, 15 rooms. So once we have the front-end design completely outlined, and then we'll work on the back end as well. So we've got the plan in place. We have the vision. We know from previous requests through your wish list and the unconvention sessions that this is a path that we want to go down. So once we've got a bit more fine-tuned, we'll definitely present it to some of our long-term users to get some feedback on the way the design should be finalized.
Fantastic. Thanks, Sureena. It looks like those are the questions that have come in. If you do have any other questions, please do not hesitate to contact anyone at the Meetingmax office. So it looks like some last-minute things are coming in. I think we're gonna cut it off for questions just so we can get everyone back to work within the hour. We will take all the questions answered and make sure that everyone does have an answer to any of their questions. So Aaron and Shane, those last-minute things that came in, we'll address. We'll just do it outside of the webinar. And with that, I'm going to pass it back off to Jeff, I think.
Yeah, thank you. And I don't take the time that you've invested with us lightly. I am hopeful that we've been able to give you kind of a bit of a snapshot on what we've been doing and where we are going. Again, we want to make sure that we're listening very intently to you guys, our users, and listening to your users' users. So we're here to take any additional feedback, questions, concerns, stuff that comes up. Work with us, engage with us, get connected on our LinkedIn user group, start dialogue and conversations, join our Gathering Minds meeting. Again, we're here to be greater than just a supplier of yours. We're here to be a partner of yours, and we're very excited and thrilled that you guys have selected us as a partner. So we're here to continue that relationship. And really want to thank you guys for coming on the call today. I'm getting you off 9 minutes early, so perhaps that might go into play on me singing Sweet Caroline. Maybe I should do that for the last 9 minutes. Patrick, your thoughts?
Please no.
I'm totally in for it.
All right. Well, thank you guys very much for getting on the call, and look forward to any feedback that you've got post-call. Thanks so much, and with that, we will close.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Goodbye, everyone.